Hey, this is William Tincup. You are listening, hopefully watching, the You Should Know podcast. We have Assaf on today from HiringBranch. And we're going to be talking about a research study that was just put out that's scoring skills one at a time is costing you better hires. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. Assaf, how are you doing today?
I am very good. How are you?
I am doing well, remarkably well. I'm in Texas. It's a little hot, but that's what I signed up for. So I really can't complain and don't complain. Where are you based?
I'm based in Montreal, Canada.
Oh, such a beautiful city.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. Your summers are gorgeous. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. People come out. That's what people don't know about Montreal and that area is, man, there's so much activity in the summer.
Yeah.
4 months of everybody's out. Everybody's outside. Everybody's doing stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, tell me, okay, outside of your name and your title, tell me a little bit about the company you work for.
So I work for HiringBranch. I'm the Chief of Research and Development Officer in HiringBranch. And HiringBranch is an assessment company. Our assessments are mainly targeted toward frontline positions like customer service, sales agents, even retail associates, the people who work, who greet you in a shop, right?
Yeah.
So basically everywhere where there is human communication, interpersonal communication, this is where our assessments can bring you benefits.
Right.
And our assessments are slightly, I would say, different from other assessments in the market because they are entirely open-ended.
Cool.
We put the candidate in the position, basically. We introduce them with a scenario. So they receive a phone call, for example, from a customer, or they are in a shop interacting with a customer, and they need to react to the customer using their voice or in writing.
Right.
And it's entirely open-ended. So we don't really tell them what to say or how to say it. We expect them to just react, right?
I love that. And again, putting them in those positions, I grew up through retail. So I came up through retail and I'll date myself, but customers were really angry, really aggressive back when I was in retail, like really aggressive. And, I remember being called to the customer service desk at one point, one store, and hi, my name is William. How can I help you? What can I do for you? And this woman points to me and then hits me in the chest with her finger.
Oh, wow.
About the price of broccoli not being scanned correctly at the grocery store, at the register. And I remember that. I remember just thinking, like, first of all, you put your hands on me. We got a problem. Second of all, how am I going to handle this in a diplomatic kind of situation? Like, it's not that big a deal. First of all, broccoli is like 11 cents a pound. So we're not dealing with like the gross national product of Great Britain or anything. Like, so what are we dealing with? And I remember just going and calming, like instead of getting mad or aggressive or, the stuff that I think normal, I would have probably normally handled it. I just said, you know what? You're absolutely right. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to refund your broccoli. And in fact, if you want to go get a couple more broccoli, go. Here's a bag. Go get you some more broccoli. Sorry for the inconvenience. And she was just stunned because she was just like, so I can just go get more broccoli? Yeah, absolutely. Get as much as you want.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. I want you to have a good experience. And it was not my typical, I'm being honest with you. It was not my typical MO back then. My typical MO back then would have been corporate policy and, all this other stuff. But I was like, you know what? I've been put in a situation where somebody put their hands on me. Now I have a choice. And so I love scenario-based assessments because there's nothing like it. There's nothing like interacting. Like, what am I going to do? There's two people they both said they had, or they were next. It's like, now what do I do? I love that stuff. And I love that it's open-ended. And so HiringBranch, Okay, I think we all understand, and these are all mobile friendly. I'm assuming because a lot of jobs for the
Yeah,
yeah
you
yeah
can
yeah
do that on a mobile or on your PC,
yep
any device, tablet. Yeah, it's
yeah
accessible on
that
any device. Yeah,
that's perfect. That's perfect.
yeah.
Okay, so tell me about this study that you've done. So
So
give us an idea, like what were you trying to prove to yourself, or what was the thesis?
yeah, so maybe just before that, we can say a few words about the evaluation itself. What is it
Oh
that
yeah
we
yeah
are assessing, right? So uh, we assess language and communication in combination, basically. So uh, we can tell you whether the candidate is fluent enough, proficient enough, intelligible enough in the target language, may it be English, Spanish, or any other language.
French yep
Yeah. But in addition to that, we also score the quality of the conversation. Yeah. So basically, the relevancy of what they're saying to the customer's issue. So if the customer is complaining about their internet not working, then we expect the candidate to say, I understand that your internet is not working and not anything else, right?
right
So we want to make sure that they understand the issue. And in addition to that, we evaluate soft skills,
yeah 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 yeah
interpersonal soft skills to do with the situation, right?
right
So some situations require some kind of acknowledgement and just using positive language to reassure the customer.
sorry
Some
I hear you
situations,
yeah
yeah,
yeah yeah
exactly. Some situations require empathy. Yeah. So you see that the customer is really hurt and frustrated. You want to address that. Some in sales, for example, it's very important to build rapport, to handle objections if there are, to be able to close an offer,
uh-huh.
etc. Right? So the scenarios that we build, we know exactly what kind of soft skills they elicit, and we evaluate. We have AI engine, machine learning models that evaluate these soft skills.
Right.
Right.
Do you think about personality at all? Like, does it come in the back of your mind? Because I'm thinking about the folks that kind of came up through personality, the IO psychologists at least. Um, they would probably say that okay, if it's a sales position, your introverts, the people that have introverted tendencies and personalities, are probably better suited, or extroverts, sorry. Extroverts are probably better suited for those positions. If it's a warehouse position, important, but an extrovert, not as much personality wise. You don't need to be an extrovert there. Now,
Right.
I don't even know if that's a factor, if that's is something that you look at or you think about because you're looking at other contexts. Does personality come up at all?
So it's an interesting question, and we get it quite frequently because personality tests are out there and are used by many of our customers and others,
Right,
and this is a natural question that comes up. However, our approach to assessing candidates is actually a linguistic approach, right?
right,
So I'm myself a linguist. And basically, what we are doing is what we call a socio-pragmatic analysis of the words that the candidate is actually saying, and
right,
we see
right, right,
whether
right,
they are acceptable in this situation or not, right? So it's not really personality, it's more on the socio-pragmatic side of things,
right.
right? Having said that, we have developed assessments that are that in which we have scenarios that call for things like being a team player,
Right,
leadership, and
right.
things like that. And we are building currently assessments around integrity and grit and
Smart.
creativity,
Adaptivity,
and
adaptability.
adaptability, and things like
Yeah,
that.
that's a big
So
one.
this is a field that we are exploring
Right,
with the anchor of a skill that is uh, is being expressed through language, right?
right.
So this is really our focus.
I worked for a linguist for a summer internship at the National Park Service, and what I loved about him, but also what was frustrating, but is he would parse every single thing that I'd say to him. like literally as I would talk, he'd go, "Did you mean to say that?" Like his mind, you can see his mind working. He's like, and I'll tell you that 4 month experience changed my life because now I listened more. After that, I probably didn't listen to what people said. I just said what I needed to say, and then really wasn't listening. I probably wasn't even listening to what I said. But after that experience of working with him, I literally will stop people down and go, did you mean may I or can I? Because one of those is the ability and one of them is permission. So like, no harm, no foul. I'm just trying to figure out which one are you asking for? And
Yeah.
it drives people crazy. It drives my friends, my family, everybody. It drives everybody crazy because I can't get it out of my head. Once you know that stuff, you can't unlearn it. So respect on the linguistic side of things, and I understand the context. I do understand the context. How do you set like what's right or what's acceptable? I would assume that there's some probably with the client or understanding the persona of the job, etc. Like who gets to decide what's acceptable and what's not acceptable?
So we do that in cooperation with our clients. We
Right.
have IOs in the company. We have linguists, a team of linguists in the company that work together, and we have a lot of data. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually analyze linguistic data, and we come up with what linguistic strategies are actually useful and create the right response, the required response from the customer, and what don't, right?
Right.
So it's a lot of data analysis, textual data analysis that we do in-house, and we have years worth of data around this. So we've built very strong models to predict these skills. Yeah.
I love it. Tell us a little bit about the study now.
Okay, so the study is a new piece that was basically initiated because of our customers' demand. Yeah. So what are they demanding us to do? Yeah. So many times we get a request. So our reports, yeah. So they include the categories that I mentioned here, right? So linguistic categories like speaking, writing, but also this quality focus that I mentioned and this customer focus that I mentioned are also reported. But many of our customers are curious about the specific skills, right? So they say, okay, I understand their customer focus is good, but tell me about their empathy, how good their empathy is, right? So, and then, we administer an assessment, right? And the assessment needs to be quick because, candidates don't have a lot of time and patience to go through a long assessment. And it is challenging as well, right? It's an open-ended assessment. It is challenging. So we are sensitive to that. So there is so much you can do, so much data points you can gather from a short assessment around somebody's empathy, right? Because if there is a scenario, so within a scenario, you might find one evidence of empathy.
Right.
Then you need to move on to another scenario to find another evidence of empathy.
That's right.
But we don't have the luxury of having 100 scenarios in an assessment, right?
That's right. No.
So how can we evaluate empathy in a short assessment, right? So we tried to figure this question out, and what we found was actually surprising. We found that we don't really need to account for empathy alone,
Right.
Because empathy alone is meaningless, right?
If you have context,
exactly. If a candidate can express empathy but is unable to solve the issue correctly or to comprehend the issue correctly or to reassure the customer,
right?
Then this empathy is nice, but it's actually useless, right?
Yeah. You have that. The candidate has that skill, but the context of it's a wheel of skills that they need to have, empathy
Exactly.
being one of those.
Exactly.
And again, they can index high on that and index low on everything else, and that's not a great hire.
Yeah. So this is what we figured out, and we wanted to put some numbers around this, right? So we collected some data, um, basically conversations,
Right.
customer service. Specifically, we did that for customer service conversations, where we know that there are four skills that are very prominent. One is acknowledging the customer's issue. Another one is reassuring the customer using positive language. Another one is empathy and active listening. Yeah, being
Right.
able to listen and understand. Right. These are
Right.
the main four pillars of customer service. So we took these conversations, we gave them to a group of human annotators, and we told them, annotate, give a score for these conversations for these skills, right? So they gave the score, and then we evaluated using our models. Yeah, we called the ML machine learning model of acknowledgement. We call the machine learning model of empathy, etc., separately. Yeah,
Right.
and we
Right.
looked for the correlation between this score, the separate score that the machine gave, and the human annotator score, right? And we saw that there is, of course, a correlation, yeah,
Right.
but it's moderate correlation. Then what we did is we grouped all these skills together, yeah, into a proprietary machine learning model
Right.
with different weights and different calibrations, and we again evaluated the skills using this proprietary machine learning model, and we found that the results are the correlations are much higher, right?
Ah.
Which tells us that when you look at the skills, when you evaluate the skills in combination and not separately, you get a much more reliable and stronger prediction of
Right.
the candidate's actual soft skills in the context of this job, right?
Right.
So basically, this question that we were asked by our customers, what is this candidate's score for empathy, is a mute question, right?
That's right. That's right.
It's not really a necessary question, because really you need to look at soft skills in their entirety in relation to the
The
job
position.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
that this candidate
You
is
know, it'd
going to.
be fascinating. I know you're not thinking about this right now, but what would be fascinating is to tie that to hires, to then tie that to performance. I know that we're not thinking that stuff right now, but it'd be great to get some type of loop back to understand how the calibration was set, and then that person that went through the process, and then 3 months, 6 months, 9 months in to find out, okay, did we have it right?
Yeah.
Because
So
we
actually, we do that. We do
hi
that. Yeah, we
okay
do that. And our uh, we did that several times. And what we find again and again is that there is a good correlation between their performance in these specific
right
parts of the
right.
assessment, this quality part and customer focus part, and their performance actually on the job a few months later on, after they are recruited and working, right?
Does that help you with the kind of recalibration or calibration?
Definitely. And
I
then we
okay.
we can feed it back to our assessments.
Right.
And yeah, and I would say even more than that, it's for each for each of our customer is different calibration. Yeah,
Right.
the calibration is different, right?
Yeah,
So
nothing off the shelf
teamwork,
is going to be
geography,
good.
and
Yeah.
job description, etc. It's a different calibration. Yeah,
Well, yeah, and I can even see a company that goes across, let's say Canada. They've got people in Vancouver and Montreal and Toronto. They need even probably different calibrations for those. Like, so some
exactly.
regionality might play in, seasonality might play in, just all kinds of different things. So the same company might be hiring for the same type of position, but needs something slightly different.
Right.
And I love the fact that it's custom, but it's not custom in the sense of like we're going to build it from scratch and we have no idea, like there's no background. No. You're sitting on, like you said, thousands of points of data and understanding the calibration of what they need, that's just a starting point. Is that over time you can calibrate that and recalibrate that and get that really fine tuned to where the more of those people that they hire, let's say it's call center people, associates, the more that they hire, the more on point you can be with the assessment. The assessment gets smarter over time.
Yep. Yeah.
I love that.
I would say another thing here. It all starts from the job description itself. Yeah. So what is this candidate going to do in their future job? Yeah.
Right.
So is it customer service? Customer service for what specifically? Which industry? What type of customer service? Sales? Is it outbound, inbound, over the phone, or in chat? It all starts from the job description. And these job descriptions, at the end of the day, they translate into what we call conversation flows. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how in a job ad you have this part that says what you will do.
Yeah.
So what is it that this candidate is going to do on a daily basis? And then they say, you're going to handle customer complaints. You're going to do this. You're going to do that, right? What does it mean you're going to handle customer complaints? There is really a conversation flow that, is a result of that. Customer is complaining. You need to listen to them. You need to reiterate to them what you understood. And then you need to try to find a solution and reassure them, etc. Right? There is a real flow here that is replicable, right?
Mm-hmm.
It goes on again and again and again. It's the same one, right? And it all starts, and this conversation flow elicits skills, specific skills, right?
Right.
So in different turns of this conversation, different skills are demonstrated.
You're constantly monitoring, measuring. Yeah.
Exactly. So we have a process in place that basically takes the job description, translates it into conversation flows that are actual scenarios that this candidate is going to do in their job.
So you've run into this at some point in your career, maybe not now, but it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So if the job description is horrible.
Yeah. Man. Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's a now thing, but definitely in the past are completely horrible. How do you get to the conversation flows if it's garbage? If it's a garbage job description?
So even if it's a garbage, we need to understand we are doing pre-hire assessments, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, even if the job description is garbage, there are still very clear types of jobs or tasks that this candidate is going to do on a daily basis. So even if this job description is garbage, you can go online, etc. You can search for better descriptors of this job, and this translates into conversation flow.
Right. Once it's there, you can translate it.
Yeah, and at a pre-hire assessment evaluation of skills, this is really enough, right? We do have also post-hire assessments, and on the job, mobility, internal mobility assessments and things like that, which contain more advanced scenarios. But then it's really a matter of conversing with the recruiters and trying to understand better what type of job, what type of tasks this candidate are going to do on a daily basis. Many times we actually get transcripts of conversations from our customers, and these are really helpful, right?
100%. Again, you're getting to that contextual layer that you've said a couple of times. I like that. I like the idea if they had no job description, that you all have a library of skills that that things that kind of make up that job description, and being able to give them that, say, hey, you're hiring for this? Great. Here's what we've seen. And it's like, then it's almost like you're not worried about if they're bringing garbage or great. it's like you can kind of manage the quality over time because you know what other positions are measuring for and the language that they need to have. So it's almost like you could create the job description for them
Yeah,
at some point, maybe not now, but at some point you'll have enough data to where you can just like, okay, here's what your actual job description. You gave us this. Here's actually what it should, if we're optimizing, here's what it should be asking for.
right.
And then it's
So,
already baked, and the conversation flow is already baked in.
yeah. So a spoiler alert, it is
What?
something we are actively working
Okay.
on.
Okay.
So
I love
like a
that.
self-served
Yeah.
build your own assessment, using guidance
I
that we
love
give
that.
in terms of conversation flows and skills and
Yep.
etc.
That'd be very helpful, especially for hiring managers. That most of the time recruiters might not know exactly the job. They know they need to fill the job, but they don't know the job. And getting hiring managers, instead of starting with a blank screen, they could start with, a technology, and then just go, hey, build your own. Just tell us what you think that they need. Ding, 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 ding. This is what other people that hire for that type of position. These are some of the things that are important to them. Boom. And they're not starting from zero or a blank screen or anything like that. They can actually build it, and you've already got the conversation flows below it to then go measure it, which
Exactly.
I love
Yeah.
all that. Well, first of all, where do we get to study? So the audience that's listening to this that is interested, where do they need to go?
So the study will appear on the HiringBranch website under the AI research tab.
Okay, good.
We'll be able to get access to the study itself.
Brother, this has been fantastic. I think I could talk to you all day. So I appreciate you carving out some time. I know you're busy, but thank you for educating me and the audience.